Am I the asshole that instead of confronting my wife 25 about her cuckolding, I 27 jerk myself off to it? The first time I noticed, I told myself it couldn't be what it looked like. We had been married just under 2 years. Things between us weren't bad, at least I didn't think so. But one night, as I walked past our shared office, I heard voices through the slightly open door. Not just hers, a man's. I froze. It wasn't innocent. The words were low, suggestive, laced with heat, and her laugh, the laugh I used to crave, sounded like it belonged to someone else now. I wanted to storm in, to scream, to demand answers, but I didn't. I stood there, listening. My heart was breaking, and yet I was hard. I hated myself for it. The next night, it happened again. She thought I was asleep. She slipped out of bed, phone in hand, and went into the office. The same voice followed through her laptop this time. A video call. I caught pieces of it as I crept closer. Him asking her what she was wearing. Her teasing him. The sound of her breath quickening. My body betrayed me. I couldn't stop. I sat outside the door, one hand on myself, disgusted and yet enthralled. It wasn't just jealousy anymore. It was arousal tangled with shame. Weeks passed like this. I didn't confront her. Instead, I learned her schedule. I knew when she'd work late in the office, when she'd leave the house under the excuse of girls' night, when she'd take longer showers after coming home at 2 a.m. And instead of stopping her, I'd wait, listen, sometimes watch from the crack of a door or scroll through her open messages when she forgot to close them. I should have been furious. I should have demanded answers. But I didn't. I used it. Every secret moan, every word she gave another man, I made it mine in the most twisted way. The real breaking point came one Saturday. We were supposed to meet my parents for brunch. She claimed she wasn't feeling well. I went alone. When I came back early, her car was in the driveway, but she wasn't home. Her phone, however, was left on the kitchen counter, and the screen was lit up. A video? I shouldn't have watched it, but I did. She was in some cheap motel room, dressed in lingerie I'd never seen before. A man's hand traced down her thigh. She looked directly into the camera and whispered, "I wish my husband could see how pathetic he is." My stomach dropped. And yet, as I stood there shaking, humiliated, I felt the same shameful arousal claw its way up again. That night, when she came home, I pretended nothing was wrong. I kissed her forehead. I asked how she was feeling. She smiled, sweet and innocent, like she hadn't just destroyed me hours earlier. And later, when she fell asleep beside me, I pulled out my phone and rewatched that video, jerking off in silence, tears streaming down my face. Now I'm trapped. I know she's betraying me. I know I should leave, or at the very least confront her. But I don't. Instead, I feed this sick loop of humiliation and lust, making her betrayal part of my own private ritual. So, am I the asshole? Not just for being upset, not just for staying silent, but for turning my wife's cuckolding into something I get off on, instead of fighting back or walking away. Because I don't even know if I'm the victim anymore or if I've become part of the betrayal itself. For weeks after I found that motel video, I lived in a twilight state between disgust and desire. By day, I functioned like a husband should. We cooked dinner together, went shopping for groceries, even laughed over a dumb sitcom on Netflix. She'd lean into me on the couch, her head resting on my shoulder like everything was normal. But by night, she became someone else, and so did I. The moment she slipped away, or even when I suspected she might, my pulse would spike. I would check her location, scroll through her hidden folders, search for videos she left unguarded. Sometimes she left them there on purpose, almost daring me to find them. I couldn't stop myself. I'd sit in the dark, headphones in, watching her betray me over and over, my hand moving in sync with the rhythm of her gasps. And every time, the shame cut deeper. I wasn't her husband anymore. I was an addict. Then one night, everything changed. She didn't come home until past midnight. Her hair was messy, her lipstick smeared, the faint smell of cologne that wasn't mine clinging to her skin. I lay in bed, pretending to sleep. She slipped under the sheets without saying a word. For a few minutes, she lay there still, her breathing uneven. Then, slowly, she reached for me. Not out of desire. out of guilt, or maybe habit. Her hand brushed against me, and I froze. Normally, this would be the moment where I'd give in, where I'd forget everything and let her reclaim me like nothing had happened. But this time nothing happened. I was completely limp. She waited, tried again, but no matter what she did, my body refused to respond. And in that moment, the truth broke through. I couldn't touch her, not after knowing what she did with him. The only way I could function was in secret, alone, humiliating myself with the very proof of her betrayal. She pulled her hand away, whispered something under her breath, and rolled over. I lay awake until dawn, hollowed out. The following week, I thought about leaving her. I packed a bag once, threw in clothes, my passport, my laptop. But when I zipped it up, I realized I had nowhere to go. My friends would ask too many questions. My family would never understand. And worse, I didn't want to give up the sickness. As much as it hurt, as much as it destroyed me, I couldn't let go of the arousal tied to her betrayal. I needed it. The spiral got worse. One night, she left her laptop open on the bed while she showered. My hands shook as I opened the video folder. There were dozens of them. Not just from motels, our living room, our kitchen, even the backseat of her car. She cataloged her infidelity like trophies. And I watched every single one. Hours passed. The sun rose. By the time she came out of the shower, I was exhausted, empty, and sick people with myself. She noticed the laptop still open. Our eyes met. She knew. She didn't scream. She didn't accuse me. She just gave this slow, knowing smile. "Oh," she whispered, her voice almost tender. "So that's why you've been so quiet." My chest tightened. My mouth was dry. I couldn't speak. She walked toward me, dropped the towel, and straddled my lap. I should have pushed her away, demanded answers, anything. But instead, I froze, caught between fury and desire. She leaned down, her lips grazing my ear. "If you like watching so much, maybe you should see it up close." I shivered. My body betrayed me again. That was the night everything shifted. She stopped hiding. Now, she wanted me to know. She wanted me to see. Sometimes she'd send me a text while I was at work, just a photo, her hand on another man's chest, or a hotel bed with the sheets rumpled. Other times, she'd come home late, climb into bed still smelling like him, and whisper, "Did you miss me, baby?" before kissing me with lips that weren't just mine anymore. And the worst part? I let her. I didn't fight. I didn't walk away. I kept jerking off to every new piece of evidence, every new humiliation, until I wasn't sure if I was her husband or her audience. Now I lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, asking myself the same question: am I the asshole? Not just for letting her betray me, not just for staying in this twisted cycle, but for wanting it, for needing it, for choosing arousal over dignity, silence over confrontation, addiction over freedom. Because deep down, I don't know if I even want her to stop. Maybe I want her to break me completely.